we decided to compile a list of the best military strategy games to find out which games best manage to transfer the atmosphere of real global conflicts into the virtual space. Total War. Warhammer 2. The second part of the new trilogy came out even better than the original, and at the same time showed that the world of the distant past is not inferior in gloom to the 40th millennium. Most of the game mechanics of the original were retained in the sequel, only racial restrictions on the capture of certain cities gave way to preferred climatic conditions. That is, heat-loving lizard men can now theoretically live in cool forests, but they will work more slowly and breed much less willingly. By the way, the races available in the campaign have also changed. The place of gnomes and vampires was taken by two varieties of elves: good light ones, dreaming of peace and harmony, and evil dark ones, also dreaming of peace, the whole world, lizardmen and evil skaven rats. Subsequent expansions added the necromancer race and also brought the human factions back into the game. Hearts of Iron 4. The tripolar world of the late 30s of the last century, familiar from the first part of the Legendary series, has returned, now with new features and even more windows with statistics. You can help the United States and its allies deal with the Brown Plague, and, if desired, with the Red One. Seize all of Europe for Stalin, or, together with Hitler, still establish a new world order. In addition to the doctrines and technologies familiar from previous games, national focuses unique to the main countries participating in World War II appeared, allowing, for example, to bring France to the Comintern or make peace with Japan, playing as the USSR. Age of Civilizations 2. The most global of military strategies, which is being developed by a team of as many as one person. Lukasz Czachowski. The Age of Civilizations covers the entire known history of mankind and even allows you to delve into the distant future, bringing the tribe chosen at the start to planetary domination. Total War: Three Kingdoms. This part of the Total War series of games allows gamers to be transported to the homeland of the legendary military theorist and practitioner Sun Tzu, whose quotes were present on the battle loading screen in almost all parts of the franchise. The game is dedicated to one of the most famous periods in the history of the Celestial Empire, the era of the Three Kingdoms, when a grandiose war between three ancient states took place on the territory of modern China. The main feature of the project is the romantic mode, in which, along with the usual squads of units, the characters of the Three Kingdoms, a classic novel of Chinese literature, can fight in the armies who, thanks to their excellent command of Wushu, can single-handedly defeat hundreds of enemy soldiers. Valkyria Chronicles 4. The cyclical nature of history is clearly seen in the example of game development trends. So Valkyria Chronicles, 10 years after the release of the first part, returned to where it started, to a bright and colorful hodgepodge of a million different genres in an alternative World War II setting with an anime style. The richness of Chronicles' plot is envied by pure JRPGs. The turn-based tactical level will give odds to many pure strategies. The unique bravery mechanic allows you to save even the most battered fighters in battle, and the ability to sometimes control individual units in shooter mode becomes the cherry on this colorful and original Japanese cake. Ultimate General Civil War. There is an unforgivably little strategy for the American Civil War, despite the fact that the battles were led by recognized tactical geniuses like Generals Lee, Sherman, and Grant. It is all the more surprising that the authors of one of the best games about this period were not some large American company, but a small Ukrainian studio, Game Labs LLC, and the famous Modernic Tomatis, who became famous for finalizing the AI of the Total War series. Ultimate General features a captivating campaign featuring all the famous battles of the Civil War and even a few hypothetical ones, such as the Confederates taking Washington, as well as the option to play any of them separately. Men of War. Assault Squad 2, a dynamic hybrid of RTS and action in the setting of World War II, which appeared as a result of cooperation between the German developer Digitalmind Soft. The basic gameplay of the previous parts of the series has been completely preserved in the sequel, replenished with full-scale tank battles, the ability to connect snipers to your sorties, and also request an airborne landing. The graphics have been completely redesigned. Single-player campaigns for the USSR, Germany, USA, and Japan have been added. Multiplayer has also been expanded. Now you can cut not only in the usual 1 versus 1 and 4 versus 4 formats, but also in the larger 8 versus 8 format. Holdfast, Nations at War. Imagine a strategy in which half of your units simply do not hear you, a third do not understand your orders, and the rest heroically follow all instructions and die because you did not notice the hidden artillery. This is what half of the wars in the history of mankind looked like. And this is exactly what awaits you in Holdfast, a tactical online shooter set in the era of the Napoleonic Wars. Of course, you can Rambo-style to rush at the enemy with a musket at the ready. But it is much more effective here to listen carefully to your commander. And if he is you, then try to organize same members of your squad and direct their actions. XCOM 2. The sequel to the legendary tactical action game about the confrontation between aliens trying to capture the Earth and resistance groups, left over from a once powerful military organization. Compared to the previous part of the series, the battles have become more dynamic, and the variety of gameplay has expanded significantly due to the many missions in the spirit of we will arrange a diversion and make our feet. As in previous games in the series, in between battles you can study alien technology, rearm existing fighters and hire new ones. Tank Operations, European Campaign. 12 historical scenarios based on real battles await you in this turn-based wargame set in World War II. In the role of the general of the Allied forces, you have to join the battle against the Axis forces and try to save Europe from total destruction. Despite the name, the project is not dedicated to tank battles alone. So in addition to tanks and artillery, other types of equipment will be at your disposal, including ground, water, and air. Your army will not do without infantry units, because without support, even the most powerful tank will quickly turn into a smoking heap of metal. Battlestar Galactica Deadlock. The events of this game in the universe of the legendary space opera begin with a landmark event for the entire franchise: a massive attack by a robotic race of Cylons on human colonies, which led to the destruction of the command of the colonial fleet. Admiral Lucinda Kane, who became the protagonist of the game, will have to decide the fate of mankind. Now we have to not only participate in large-scale space battles, but also regularly replenish our fleet with ships of our own design and a variety of classes, from maneuverable fighters to colossal cruisers. You will also have to hire and train officers of your fleet, come up with cunning plans, and prevent the remnants of humanity from finally quarreling among themselves. Oriental Empires. The events of this turn-based strategy unfold in a time when a unified Chinese state did not exist, namely for 3 millennia, from the early Bronze Age to the Imperial period. Leading one of the 24 historical Chinese tribes of that period, we have to conquer all our neighbors and unite the nation under our flag. The gameplay feature is the huge influence of the landscape on the outcome of the battle and the need to give orders to your troops before the start of the battle, which makes the game noticeably more complex and deep than most analogs. And in between battles, you will have to deal with the growth of the welfare of your state and the loyalty of its inhabitants. For example, develop technologies and issue the wisest decrees. Just keep in mind that every action here can have far-reaching consequences, because the East is a very delicate matter. If your favorite game is not included in this list, write in the comments. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel, watch our other videos, press like, turn on notifications, and you will always be aware of what to play today.